Hey everybody, let's continue on talking about using trading cards as sources of visualization, energies, emotional strengths in our pop culture witchcraft. Now, I've done Pokemon, and in this video we're going to talk about YuGiOh. I played a lot of YuGiOh with my son, and I had at one time quite the collection. But if you are into magic, actually this is a great way to incorporate concepts that are hard to describe for spell work. Because there are some things I would love to do with magic, and if it wasn't for these cards, I'd be writing a 2-page description of what I want done. But thanks to like this card right here, I can just visualize it, and here's a representation that visualizes it, and I can then incorporate that into my spell work, and my desired results will be fulfilled as long as I don't do anything stupid. So in YuGiOh there are 3 sets of cards. You have your monster cards, spell cards, and trap cards. And I love trap cards the most for this because they are very defensive. And that's what we're going to be focusing on in some ways, is protections. Yes, we are going to do full spectrum. We're going to talk about some of the nasty stuff we can do with Pokemon cards and YuGiOh cards here. But again, just like with the Pokemon cards, there are some cards don't mess with, okay? There are a lot of what they call fiend cards, which are demons and all that. And I know that some people think that's so cool to be working with demons, but it's not. These are still, even though that they're, again, for kids and young adults, these are cards that have a visualization on there, and we don't want to visualize some of these concepts because they are kind of nasty. And the reason why we use these is because it's most of the time, if you're using original cards, is you are using everybody's shared energy on that card. I mean, let's face it, if I use the word Dark Magician, if you played YuGiOh, you know that card. You've already visualized it in your head. So you see, there is a lot of this energy, mental energy, emotional energies connected with all these concepts. And so you do not want to bring out something that is very nasty and then wonder why things went weird on you. Because if you have something that is meant to be evil and destructive and you're wondering why it doesn't work with you, that might be a reason. Now, we're going to go hit the creatures first. Everyone that I have, I download an image and I'll put it up on the computer for you. And the first one is my obvious personal favorite, Celtic Guardian, Scotch-Irish. You know, it's a thing. And yes, it would be a servitor that I would have patrolling my yard. Okay, it doesn't stay with me. It patrols my yard. It's a guardian, thus it protects an area. So if somebody was to put out some negative and try to send it towards me, hopefully my Celtic Guardian will be able to see it and protect. Save those 2 for last there. Okay. There is a card, Lady of Faith. Beautiful little card. But you could send this one as a servitor to a friend who might be needing just a little bit of help and all that. Something very positive that you can do with that. Oh gosh, I didn't discuss this one in the last video. Alright, in both Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! There are fairies. Okay, with all that's been going on with those TikTok witches, don't curse the Fae. Do not take cards like these and decide, well, it's a Fae manifestation. We can curse that one. Yeah. No. Okay. Now, the two that I got here is Fairy Guardian. Okay. And this one is just a card to protect you. And, you know, hey, isn't that a nice thing? Forgiving Maiden. Now, I like this one because of the manifestation, the visualization that I get from it. This is somebody going through a hard time. You could send them this type of concept and maybe help them get through a difficult time. Because we are witches, there is a card called Dark Witch. Ooh, yeah. And so maybe something like that to send to somebody else that's doing a lot of magical work and might need a little help, so you want to send them a Dark Witch servitor to kind of make sure that kind of help them around ritual, or when they are reciting their incantation to do spell work. You know, again, positive. Now we're going into the not so positive. So, say somebody's causing some issues and you want to disrupt their lives. Disrupting is not a bad thing, because if you're disrupting them, then they cannot do bad things to others. So in that sense, this is good. They have the Chaos Sorcerer. Okay. So you can take it as a concept or create a servitor, and you can send it to somebody that is being troublesome. Now, not all cards are nice. Some of them can be very mean. This one, Old Vindictive Magician. It just looks like an old lady who's just out to get some revenge. Okay, I just said the whole intent of the card. Now, certain cards can be used to go after somebody personally. Now, I have two cards here, and let's say somebody is wanting to develop a magical path with Santa Muerte. Now, that is a Hispanic folk magic with some Catholic mixtures, and it focuses around death, the holy death. Okay. Well, and this is the wonderful thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Is they have cards like Skull Servant, Summon Skull. So you can take those cards and create a manifestation and link into that, and it could be disruptive and all that, or you know, if you are heavily into deities and putting them into your magic and that, you can take something like Skull Servant and cast that out as a counter for towards that. Sorry, tongue's getting dry. And counter that to their attempts at magic. So, because if somebody is doing like Santa Muerte, which is very death-oriented, there's skeletons involved, why not use a Yu-Gi-Oh card that's a skeleton? Just a concept I had. Now, spell cards. Again, these can be very protective. Block attack. Very simple. You can have this card and you can put it into your altar, energize it, leave it face up somewhere in your house. Like the other one that I got active right now, it's on top of one of my bookshelves. Okay, gotta protect yourself. There is one called Spring of Rebirth, and this one again is about healing yourself. Sometimes we need a little help, or you want to help somebody else. You can take Spring of Rebirth and manifest that energy to help somebody. Okay? Sometimes our friends need help. They need a little bit more energy. They need a boost. They got a lot of spell work to do. There is a card called Dark Energy. Now this again is focusing a little bit on the dark side, but if somebody is trying to protect themselves and they're trying to do something to disrupt their attacker's actions, well, dark energy is a great one to send. So like Pastel might be having issues, my friend Pastel, sorry, might be having some issues with somebody, and she's trying to do some work. Well, I know that she's got a lot going on her plate, and she gets a little drained at times. So I would take that card, charge it up, you know, like you do like sigils and such, and I would try to send her some energy to keep Pastel going, and thus protecting my friend. Not everything that you consider negative is actually negative. You can take negative aspects and use them to protect others. So when you have these people that want to tell you how dark magic is bad, we can't touch it, they just don't know what they're really talking about. Now my favorite one out of the spell cards is this one, Non-Spell Casting Area. What this does is it takes an area, a location, and it disrupts the energy so that somebody who's in that area cannot manifest the energy to cast out. Okay? So this could protect somebody. Let's say you have somebody that is threatening to cast magic on you or a friend. Well, manifest this spell and all that. And all of a sudden, when they go to cast their spell, they don't get the magic going. And if you don't have the energy going, I'm sorry, if they don't have the energy, they can't get the magic going, and you are protecting yourself and or friends, family. Okay? Very protective, positive. Now, so you see how everything I'm doing here, about these are continuations here. These trap cards. This one is called Magic Jammer. Okay, now this is basically a card where, when turned to a spell work, it would disrupt a person from casting a spell. So, like I say, on all these others, if you know somebody that is going to be trying some spell work to go after yourself, family, friends, you can use a manifestation of Spelljammer and protect that person. Well, and disrupt that person to protect others. Astral Barrier. Now, just think about this. There are people that can astral travel. And so, wouldn't it be nice to be able to put a barrier around you and your home to keep astral eyes out of it? There you go. This one's a good one. Eye of Truth. Okay. Just think about it. How would it be if you were able to force somebody to tell the truth? Now, I don't know what level of success I've had with this card. I have tried this before. I have found it to where I might not be getting the truth, but because somebody is fighting this energy, the spell that I put against them, it is making it is kind of disruptive and all that, because they're trying not to have to tell the truth about something, and I think that is worth its weight in gold. Alright, Spellbinding Circle. Obviously, you're binding a spell. So, let's say somebody, again, is going to be trying to cause trouble with your friends. Spellbinding Circle means that the spell that they cast stays and is put on them. So any ill intent that they're trying to send out gets stuck on them, and your friends are safe. Okay. It's also kind of like a true reflection spell. You know, you get what you put out. Well, Spellbinding Circle is that concept, just different wording. Another one, very similar to what I was just talking about, is Curse of Darkness. Now, I like this one because it basically is a static spell work. It is something that you cast. You can cast at any time, and as long as the target doesn't do a specific thing, it's not going to harm them in any way. For those of you that don't want to outright harm somebody, well, that's what this concept is. You are creating a spell, an area spell around this person, and as long as this person doesn't do anything that meets the standards, the spell stays inactive. So, like the person that is claiming to going to be put magic against a couple of my friends, this was put against them. And so, if they do anything to cast a spell against my friends, they'll pay the price for it. And isn't that wonderful? Now, like I've said in many videos, I think I've said it already twice here, magic is all about energy. So you take away the energy, the person cannot do the magic. Well, the last card that I'm going to do is Energy Drain. Yes. So, if a person, you want to stop from doing a magical work, suck the energy out of them. Psychic Vampire, okay? Which is a skill I'm trying to develop. Anyway, but Energy Drain. Take away their energy. If they are depleted, if they are weak, they cannot go and conduct a spell, a ritual, and put it against you, your friends, or your family. So it's protection. Okay? So these are ways that you can, these are the cards you can use. Now, manifestation of them would be simpler to like casting a sigil and such, because these are just very, very fancy sigils. Okay? So you take your tradition, and however you do it on creating a sigil and casting a sigil, you would basically follow those steps for these cards. Okay, so it's actually quite simple. Now, darn chair. Now, the thing that I want to advise you about is that they have some very powerful creatures in here. They even have what they call Egyptian god cards. Don't use things like that. Okay, now we are talking something that is extremely powerful, and one of them is named like Obelisk the Tormentor. Now, if you have YuGiOh cards, you will know this, but for those of you who don't, at the very bottom of the card, right where my finger's at, they have numbers. This is how powerful they are. Now, true, they are not going to have any real-world implications, but I believe that since it is, these numbers provide a concept that they can also transfer into real world, because again, Obelisk the Tormentor is a very well-known card in YuGiOh, and so you're going to have a lot of energy along that, a lot of the shared energy, because a lot of people know about Obelisk. And so if you try to manifest something like that, that might get out of control. And putting something that is that potentially powerful into a flimsy cardboard card might not be the smartest thing to do. Darn, I forgot to grab them. They have card protectors and that. You might want to get some of those also if you're going to be doing Pokemon and YuGiOh magic. And they're not nearby. Let me check one more place, and nope, I don't have one handy. Anyway, they got some rigid card protectors. I mean, these are the hard plastic, not the ones you can easily bend. If you're going to use Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Magic the Gathering or any other type of collective card game, get card protectors like that. Because remember, if it's going to be used into your Magic system, it is kind of becoming sacred. It is kind of becoming important. Keep it, protect it, okay? Because sometimes, because the energies are connected to the card, the quality of the card is also important. So those are ways that you can use Yu-Gi-Oh cards in your pop culture witchcraft. Again, everything can be used positively or negatively. It all depends on your intent. So open your mind to the concept. Go look online at some of these cards because they have some very beautiful cards, some amazing artwork. There's like a Stardust Dragon, and so if you are wanting to create a astral familiar, you could literally take something like the Stardust Dragon and manifest that in the astral plane, and you can be flying with dragons. Something that Dragonfeather would really love to do. Sorry, couldn't help myself on that one. But anyway, this is a lot of concepts. Your imagination is your biggest limitation. But remember, please, use wisdom. Don't do things like cursing the fae, cursing the moon. Don't be trying to get out some demons because they have like a lich, right lords and all that. I mean, imagine Nazguls. You're trying to empower Nazguls. I probably gave somebody a stupid idea. But anyway, use wisdom in your actions. Play it safe. Do a little research, okay? And watch some anime, okay? So everybody, please take care. Be at peace.